Founded in 1957, The Gold Sheet is the country's longest-running sports betting newsletter and has been serving bettors for over 6 decades. Whether you are a lifelong subscriber, used to buy it at the newsstand, or perhaps have never seen The Gold Sheet, we want to share this amazing March Madness offer with you. Get 5 weeks of access to both the college basketball and NBA Gold Sheet newsletter for only $29. This will give you daily access to both the complete NBA and college basketball reports, which includes power ratings, strength of schedule, average line, against the spread records, and more. Get all of this for under $1 a day. It's not your dad's newsletter where games were written a week in advance, but rather up-to-date stats, scores, injuries, and all of the information to make you a March Madness expert. Head to goldsheet.com and get your March Madness on for only $29.
All right, guys, welcome in and a very happy Tuesday. Welcome to the month of March. How's that settling in with you right now? That's right, March 1st, 2022. The craziness has begun. Welcome in as we got some NBA games to break down here tonight. A very interesting card, 6 in total. Some intriguing spots here on the schedule for a few of these teams. We'll see if we can't make heads or tails, and we're going to do it, of course, with 3 of the finest. The original OG crew here as Ski Profit back in that number 1 spot up top there. Tony Finn hanging out, and, of course, Rob Vino here with you guys. Gentlemen, I still can't believe it is March, but it is March 1st here, Ski, which means it's a new month, man. And you keep adding to the profits you've had already this year, dude. We're going to have to back up that Brinks truck, man. What is going on here for you tonight, though? What do you got locked and loaded for us at WagerTalk?
Well, so far, I'm in action on about 6 games in association. Yesterday, I did have a winning day. I went 7-5 with 1 play being a half unit, like plus 700 play. So it was a profitable day. And my last 461 plays, I've won 261 of them, which is about 56.6%. So looking to keep it going today and talking out some more winners with you guys.
Amen, dude. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. As the winners keep coming, shooters got to shoot. You know what I mean, Skate? It is what it is,
That's
man.
right.
You got the games. Let's go. Tony Finn, speaking of shoot, man. Yeah, dropping dimes, man. I understand. IUPUI called. They want the uniform back. And I'd like to know, what do you got locked and loaded for us here tonight at WagerTalk?
I got an NBA triple header, 3 games. You got to get all 3. I packed them all. You can get them for $29 after a decent day yesterday, after a fortuitous day yesterday, in my opinion. To have a big, I swept the 2 5-percenters. Got the NBA 5-percenter as a winner. The college is a winner. The NBA, again, guys, 23-point lead late in the third quarter. Tied up with 30 seconds to go in the game, and I'm laying a 3-point bucket. And that game was fortunate to win by 5. And in college had plus 12.5, 13.5 with Kansas State over Texas Tech. So tonight went 5-1 yesterday. Let's keep it going today, and 3 NBA picks.
I love it. All right. And Rob Vino, a hell of a 30-day mark for you too, man. I got you 48, 37, and 1. Cha-ching here as the profits continue to roll for you as well in the association. What do you got tonight for us?
Yeah, it's been good out of the break, Joe. 10-1 since they came back to the floor. So last night, just 1 play, Sacramento. They got there pretty easily, big second half against Oklahoma City. I do not have any NBA up and available as of this moment, waiting on a couple more injury reports. But I tell you, first glance this morning, and I should be excited, 10-1, but I just didn't see anything that really particularly stood out to me. So that's, with the injuries still being what they are. Toronto, Brooklyn, I'm mainly interested in. We'll see what happens there with the 4:30. But we'll see. We'll give our best opinions on what we got in front of us here today.
Oh, as long as the Houston Rockets are playing, there's an over somewhere we can bet. All right, let's do this here, guys. Let's take a look at the contrarian play of the day. The Bulls last night, unfortunately, got their ass handed to them by the Miami Heat there. And tonight, we're going to look at a different team in the East. How about the Hawks getting 6.5 right now, taking on the resurgent Boston Celtics in this one here. And listen, I get it. The Celtics have been red hot. They're playing defense. They're scoring. It's kumbaya. It's puppy dogs and rainbow ski with the Boston Celtics. But, man, the contrarian gods think 6.5 is a little much here. What do you think?
Well, I'm already invested on both sides in this game from the jump, just because I have Celtics win total at 46.5, and I have, I made a live bet one of the last times last week on Hawks over 41.5, I think. So one of them will make a step towards that. As far as this game, I probably would take the points with the Hawks. They are slightly more rested. I think out of the break so far, they've been playing a little bit better basketball than Boston, even though before that, Boston was playing the best, in the association. And they're just in a tough spot. Like, I think they're ninth in the standings. They really got to make a push. They can't afford to keep losing games. So I think the effort will be there. They're fairly healthy. And I think you can maybe even get in on Atlanta first half too. So I've been thinking about this one for majority of the day. I'm likely to be there with the contrarian guys today.
So it's interesting. I mean, this stretch that they've been on, it started before the All-Star break, Tony Finn, and it's kind of rolled. And you know what happens? The Celtics, they get on that road, that defense, the public money starts pouring in. The more they win, the more money they seem to get. But 6.5 feels, that feels like a lot. Now, no John Collins again for Atlanta, but even still, are you willing to take the points here tonight on the road with Atlanta?
I would be. Listen, I'm a big Boston believer. During off the air, before the show, you just heard me say, one person say, Miami, I still think Boston may be the best team in the East. They're the team I played at 2,200 when you could get them at 2,200 to win the East. The bookmakers kind of gradually elevated the Celtics after a good January, obviously early February period that saw them find their mojo. They found their mojo. Marcus Smart, very comfortable in that point position now. And for the most part, this is a team that can defend. They're sneaky good defensively, just sneaky good. And the numbers show that. But in this situation, you said it. Over the last, since they beat Philly, by almost 50, right? They beat them by 48 points. So they've had 4 games. And they've been a favorite in all 4 of those. The first one was a home game against Detroit. They're a double-digit favorite. The next 3 are road games, guys, against Brooklyn, Detroit, and I'd have to look it up, but off the top of my head, Indiana, who it was. 3 favorites, almost double-digit favorites on the road in all 3 of those. And the results were 1 and 3 against the number. Boston started getting popular, like you said, tonight. Now, in a game that really, my numbers show these 2 teams pretty even. And what the books are telling you after the last game, where what the number was comparatively, opened 6.5 here today, it says that Boston's 4.5 points better than Atlanta on a neutral floor, right? I don't buy that. I mean, I buy it maybe a month ago or 2 weeks ago when they weren't playing with Collins. This Atlanta team's learned to play to score without John Collins. They really have, like you just mentioned, their numbers, their metrics over the last 2 weeks are fantastic. If I'm in this room, Joe, I'm on Atlanta. I'm on your contrarian play.
It feels a lot, but I guess we're at that point, right? Now may be the time to sell high with the Boston Celtics here. At least the contrarian gods are, Rob Vino. How do you see it?
Yeah, I don't think so, Joe. I'm not going to agree with the contrarian guys today.
Love it.
I wouldn't want to sell Boston off of the loss to Indiana, and that's somewhat excusable. It was back-to-backs. Indiana likes to run. Boston came out. The last 2 times they've lost have been unexpected losses to the Pistons, 112-111, when they were in a back-to-back and tired. and then they lose to Indiana. They shouldn't have lost when they're in a back-to-back and tired. But what they have done is they just played this game February 13th, 16 days ago, and Atlanta didn't learn how to score without John Collins in that game. They only put up 95 points, 105-95 Boston. It was a big third quarter. I think Atlanta held a 10-point lead at halftime. Boston puts up 42 and coasts the rest of the way. They win by double digits. These two teams have played 3 times this year. All 3 games are double-digit decisions, and every time the home team has been the winner. Atlanta won both games down there by doubles. Boston just won 16 days ago right here by doubles. And it's the front court, it's without John Collins, that makes the difference. The front court situation, starting front courts in that game on February 13th here in Boston, the Celtics get 56 points out of their forwards and center, and Atlanta gets 23. So they're plus 33 in the front court. It's tough with Gallinari there for Atlanta rather than John Collins as the starter. So to me, I think Boston's had enough rest after that loss to Indiana. I think they'll be ready. The one thing I will give the Atlanta Hawks, and I think Ski pointed it out, is there's a sense of urgency for the Hawks right now to win games because they're on the cusp of not even being involved in the playoffs. I think they're going to get there, but still, you got to win games to get there. I'm going to try Boston here for purposes of the show in this segment. I'll lay the points with the Celtics.
Thank God, Rob. If we would have swept it again, I would have been forced to have to go play the Celtics then. All right, so Hawks, here we go. Hawks plus 6.5. Split decision here with the contrarian gods tonight. Let's see how it fares now as we move on to a featured match. As the Lakers will be hosting the Dallas Mavericks here tonight. I'm seeing 5s now. It opened up 4.5. A shock to nobody at 5 now as the money's come towards Dallas. The total has dropped just a hair, 216.5. I'm seeing from that 217 open. Listen, we know Dallas is certainly going to gain a little bit of love here with how good they have been. So is the problem, though, Ski, do we just not trust the Lakers at home back against the wall to be able to get it done here tonight? I mean, are you looking Dallas? Can you even consider the Lakers at this point? Yeah, that's what I thought.
My mic doesn't even want me to talk about this game. I'm forced to talk about the Lakers, I guess, today.
That said it all.
You said, can you trust the Lakers at home? No, you can't trust the Lakers at all. I've been out for a little while since before the All-Star break on this team. I don't even watch the games anymore because they don't try. Why should I put my effort to watch the game? You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
Dallas, I like the additions they got. Tony's favorite player, Dinwiddie, and Bertans, I think they're good additions over there. And Dallas is playing good ball right now. So Lakers are not. It's a one-way ticket for me. But you know how it goes with me, Joe. If I go ahead and bet the Mavericks -5, Lakers went out right tonight. So I'm probably not going to bet this game. Or maybe I should bet so the Lakers can win. But I wouldn't be putting money on the Lakers. That's how I feel.
It's not as right. I mean, talk to us here, Tony. It's no surprise that the Dallas is getting money. It should surprise nobody. It's not been a good return here for the Lakers since the All-Star break. But yeah, I hate to say it, but when you got LeBron, you still they can still take the points here, man. Or are you not willing to do that here, Finn?
Well, the Staples Center apocalypse. Now the cryptocurrency cave owned by the Clippers took place when I never received my Lakers jersey from the Cali post office.
Settle down.
Ski.
Wow. Damn.
All right.
Opening up old wounds.
The Lakers are averaging 95 per 100 possessions last 2 games. Failed to cover both. New Orleans held to a mere like 0.888888 points per possession by the league's 19th ranked defense. They were supposed to expect against Dallas, yada, 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 the transition plays, Golden State, all this crap. The Lakers are who they are, guys. We know that. Even Skis, basically, he's not said it, but You could look at it and see it in his face. You take Dallas here, or you're not in this game at all, in my opinion.
So, Rob, it's crazy, but we're at the point now where even an inflated line like this towards the Dallas Mavericks, we're still not willing to pull the trigger on the Lakers and bet into it here. So, is there a total angle? Is there a side angle worth playing here to you?
Well, there's no angle. Every angle goes to Dallas where side is concerned, Joe. There's no angle that points to the Lakers. I mean, you don't do stuff like lose to New Orleans by 28 points against the team that you're in direct competition for that play-in game, and they get destroyed at home. And I'm with Ski. You watch that team, and it just looks like they don't care. There's and I'm not saying Russell Westbrook doesn't care, but his post-game said it all. I got a wife and 3 beautiful kids at home. I ain't bringing this home with me. So, just leave all that garbage right in that arena. And LeBron runs around and, gets meaningless points. I'll say this, Joe. You took the time enough to do that interview with MGM yesterday. So I took the time enough to watch you do that interview and talk about your MVP. Luka Doncic is making a run. The month of February, he averaged 35 points per game. I know Joel Embiid had a string of 30-pluses. DeRozan had a string of 30-pluses. Luka had a slow start to the year, put him way behind. But, man, he's coming. This team's 8-1 against the spread last night. They're 4-0 against the spread since Dinwiddie and Bertans entered the lineup. And that 33-13 fourth quarter on the road against Golden State the other night does nothing but boost their confidence. They were getting crushed, and they come all the way back. So, you have to play the Mavericks mechanically, knee-jerk, just for no other reason except that you have to fade LA at this point in time. Total-wise, it's interesting, Joe, because Dallas has gotten a little bit smaller, and they're scoring a few more points now. The defensive disparity between these two is, Grand Canyon type wide. Dallas, the far better defensive team. But Dallas has been scoring a lot better lately. Dinwiddie is a guy that, with a skill set that they haven't had behind Luka, a guy that can get his own. I would play Dallas minus the points here, inflated or not. I just don't see the effort coming from the Lakers at this point. And there's more complaining than there is effort on the court, if you ask me.
Might I interest Ski in a first quarter? No, I'm only screwed. All right, Dallas and the Lakers.
First quarter,
here,
Dallas,
guys.
absolutely.
We will get you an updated number on that too here, guys. All right, Mavs-Lakers seems to be a one-way discussion there as well. So we'll head over to our overtime game. We'll focus on a total here, guys, on a game that, there should be some points, or will there be? It's an interesting matchup here tonight with Golden State Warriors on the road taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. And to no surprise, I guess, the market certainly seems to think that there's going to be some points scored. But we also know one of these teams can bring the defense here. So, Ski, I'll start with you here, man. Talk to me about this. Doesn't surprise me it's in the 230s, but does it get there in your opinion?
Well, I'll trust. I'll start with Minnesota's defense. I definitely, think they're going to give up a lot of points. If you look at their last 20 games, I want to say maybe 16 of them have gone over. I'm focused mostly on Golden State's team total, honestly, because Minnesota, they've allowed 117 plus 6 of their last 8 games. I just really don't trust their defense. So I trust Golden State. With Minnesota, Anthony Edwards questionable now. Guys can pop up on the injury report with it being the second of a back-to-back. So one-way ticket for me, I wouldn't be betting it under, but I would be nervous about the Minnesota side.
All right, Minnesota, no defense. That's, that goes without saying. I guess we know that. They're going to run, they're going to gun here, Tony Finn, but we know they got some defense, though, Golden State. I mean, still no Draymond, but the signs are pointing soon, hopefully. What do you think we're going to get here tonight? Is this just over or not for you with these two teams?
But it's an interesting question. That's for certain. And we could spend an hour talking about that. My other esteemed colleague here, Robert mentioned Dallas in that game they had against Golden State. Golden State was dominating the game, but they weren't playing very well. Dallas is still that team that leads the league, that least possessions of any team in the league per game, the least. That's the way they want to play. They want to slow it down. They don't want to give extra possessions. They just want to be in the game, and hopefully they can do what they did. You look up Golden State's got a 14-point lead, right, in the fourth quarter, 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and they only scored 6 points. It's not because Dallas is that good defensively. Trust me. That was one of those games where it's the second game in a row, actually. Golden State, they'll learn something from that. Curry even mentioned it. This is a young team without Draymond, without with that group of guys, even without Clay. We have to put Clay in the veteran category. I like the over here in this game. I like the over for a couple reasons. One, because Minnesota seems to be playing for Finch. Finch is concerned about this team. Yesterday, when they were up by 20 points, right? They were playing around. You watched them; they were just playing around. And he called a timeout. They were up 22 points, I think. And you could tell him, he was yelling at him, saying, "Listen, you sons of bitches, you got to quit screwing around." And guess what? He knows this is a team for 8 straight games. For 8 straight games, Minnesota has been 10 points. And they've basically been 10 points in the hole. They've been down by 10 or more points 8 straight games. Look at what they've done on the record. They ended up holding on last night, but they're not very good on the second leg of a back-to-back. And if I gave you the games and who they've won and lost against, they're 3-7 without rest. Very few teams are better than Golden State off a loss, especially like that loss they had against Dallas. And if they have the rest advantage, they're one of the top 5 teams in the league. What you're going to have here, the last 2 times these teams played, I think Golden State was about 125 to about 100 and something like that. But there's no way Minnesota's going to stop this Golden State team with Wiggins, who had a monster game, right? Goes back because his old team scores 30-something or whatever it was. You're going to see the same thing. And they just announced, here's the problem with the over, guys. During our show, or right before the show, there was a big light that lit up on our WagerTalk live odds, and it was Minnesota Golden State went from about a 1 to 1.5 to a 3-point favorite because Edwards is now questionable. And if you watched Edwards last night, he was really the key that got this team ahead. So without Edwards, it's tough to go over in this game and his 20 points. It's definitely tough to be on Minnesota in the second leg of a back-to-back. When was the last second leg of a back-to-back that Minnesota had? Philadelphia crushed this team at home in Minnesota. So I would be on the over, Joe. I like the over. I like the over in this game a lot, especially Minnesota, and the way they play defense. Without Edwards, I had to know whether Edwards is live or dead tonight.
Thank God. All right, so let's, Rob, talk to me. Here's the problem I'm having. Golden State blew a 21-point lead last time we saw them on a court, Golden State there against Dallas. I mean, they scored next to nothing in the fourth quarter and allowed them to come back. I almost feel like this has got first half total maybe under written all over it with a possible over full game. What do you think here with this effort we're going to get from the Golden State Warriors tonight?
Well, I'm not going to talk about Golden State and good defense in the same sense because it hasn't happened for a month now. I mean, I'm going to give you some numbers here. They played the 10 games they played in February. 7 of those 10, they gave up 47% or better from the field to their opponents. You know how many times they did that the previous 17 games when Green and Iguodala and all these guys were playing? Twice. 2 out of 17 before that. Now all of a sudden 7 out of 10. Everybody's shooting. You know who they stopped? Here's who they stopped. Here's who didn't shoot 47% against Golden State the last 10 games. Portland, 2 games ago. If Anthony Simons isn't scoring, nobody is. The Knicks and Oklahoma City. Stop it with Golden State and defense. It's not there. Now, I'll say stop it with Anthony Edwards because, I brought this up last time, Joe. He wasn't right
for me today.
The game before the All-Star break, he didn't play, right, because he was hurt. He goes to that Rising Stars game. He plays a few minutes. They put him in street clothes. He didn't play again. He comes out. He plays a lot of minutes in these 3 games since the break, but his point totals, I mean, if you're betting Anthony Edwards props these 3 games, you're bankrupt. Last night was his best night. He had 17 points in, I think, 30 30 some odd minutes. But he hasn't been the same guy. There's something wrong there. So Minnesota always finds a way to play pace. Minnesota always finds a way to play tempo. Minnesota games always find a way to get better than the 231.5 we're looking at right here. Tony Finn, here's where I'm going to 100% agree with you on this game over.
Well, it'll be the first time today. That's for damn sure.
You hope people play. Well, it's probably. I'll keep that last comment to myself. 13 of the last 15 games Minnesota's played have gone 233 or better. 13 out of 50, like a 90% bet that they're going to get to 233, no matter who's on the floor or whatever. So I'm going to say play it over, Joe. I don't like the fact that, Thompson isn't involved, and maybe it's not just Edwards, guys. It's another questionable on that team. I think Vanderbilt, right? Well, Vanderbilt brings a little energy in defense. And so when you subtract that from the equation, that should mean more points. If you have to play over.
Well, all right, 118.5 in the first half, too, as well.
He's questionable, right, Tone?
Yeah, he still is.
They just moved him. He just got moved to – when you move to the injury report an hour in the afternoon of a game, it's not good. You're right. And he is now questionable.
And that's good for points. It's good for points because Vanderbilt's only purpose is to play with energy and stop points from getting to the rim.
Tempo. That's correct. Yeah, there's going to be some pace here. That's for sure. So, all right, over it is. It seems to be everyone's on the same page with that one. So let's see who the dogs might be barking at tonight. Let's go, Robert.
That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. And anybody got to say anything, you let me know. That's my dog.
All right, let's check it out. 6 games up, 6 dogs available, including the Detroit Pistons, the Atlanta Hawks, the Brooklyn Nets, the Houston Rockets, the Timberwolves, and those everybody lovable LA Lakers. Plus 5.5 here, Ski. So where you going, my man? You got 6 to choose from. Well, you got 5 to choose from. What is your dog here tonight, Ski?
Go ahead and I'm gonna pull a Rob Vino, man. I'm gonna rock with the contrarian play tonight. I think it's a little bit too many points. I think it's a competitive game, and I think Hawks can maybe even win. So Hawks plus the 6.5 might even be there in the first half too.
I feel like there's a profit line bet going on there. Taking the points, sprinkle a little something on the ML, and voila. You're taking home big piles of cash here, Tony Finn. Talk to us. Which one of these dogs you making your own?
My dog's the Houston Rockets. I did this all for Robert in the show, of course. Houston Rockets plus 7. If you watched the Clippers 2 nights ago, if you watch them play in Houston, we talked about the total was 230 in that game. 230. It was never ever close. It never was close. And if you watch Jackson at the point, wow. Listen, I was excited kind of about this Clippers. They were playing with some energy. They just beat the Lakers in a good game. Really, it was one of the best games I've watched the Lakers play all year. It was entertaining. I actually was drawn into it, But the problem is that Houston is unpredictable, and the Clippers can still defend to some degree. My dog is this. I like Houston plus the 7. If you watched this game last time, the Clippers had to come from behind to win. Yeah. It snapped their 5-0 against the spread run. They're still 5-1 straight up in the last 6 games. Played some good defense. Not only do I like Houston as a dog, I like the under 229 or at least 227. I know it dropped a little bit under, so I'll give you 2 plays. Give me that dog, Houston, and the under against the Clippers tonight.
He likes it. I love. Yeah, they had to play defense in order to come back in that game against the Rockets. That was an interesting one. How about it, Rob Vino? You got 6 on the board here. Where are you looking at tonight?
I can do process of elimination, Joe. Right? I already told you Boston, so I can't take Atlanta.
Can't go there.
The Nets are 3-19-1 against the spread without Kyrie. I'm not going anywhere near that. Tony took the Rockets, so I'll let him have that by himself. Minnesota, I really don't want any part of. And the Lakers, we hammered to death. That leaves me with the Detroit Pistons, and
Damn
it's
right.
not that bad of an option.
That's right.
If for no other reason, guys, if I only had one reason to give why I would play Detroit, they're 4-0 against the spread. Their last 4 games, all 4 are against playoff-bound teams. They've played real well lately, very competitively. I think Diallo is on the injury list, but Detroit's pieces are so interchangeable, and the main ones are there. And Washington's only 7-10 as a home favorite. Who really wants the Wizards as a home favorite? I get that they're somewhat in the playoff race still for the play-in game, but I don't know that the difference between these two is really that much. So I would say Detroit because of their current form, probably my dog of the day.
All right, I love it. All right, the Pistons. We get the Pistons have a vote of confidence here from Rob Vino, and now it is time for best bets here, people. All right, let's do this. I can tell you where this game is not going right now with Ski Profit. 60 seconds on the clock. You got 5 games there. Talk to me here on where you're going to be looking for a best bet tonight.
So I'm gonna, and I hate doing this, but same thing Rob just said, process of elimination, except I'm coming at him this time. We don't have Teddy on the show today, so I'm coming at Rob. I like the Wizards tonight. I think they're a favorite for a reason. Talking about, I know Detroit has covered a few games, around the All-Star break, when they're going into the All-Star break, some teams are taking it easy. They don't really care as much. Coming out the All-Star break is, just getting back used to it. So I'm not putting too much into that. I think Detroit, they're going to look at this game and say, hey, we're starting to win a little bit too much. We still got to make sure. I don't think they're not trying to make the playoffs. And the Wizards are. So Wizards are the more rested team. Rested teams are rested favorites for more when their opponent, my bad, I messed that up. Favorites are more rested than their opponent, win 71.5% of the time. Wizards at minus 150 is about 60% implied probability. It's still an edge on Wizards at that number. So you can do the profit line, however you want to play it. I think Wizards are the right side.
Wow. I like that. I mean, after all, Detroit is going for its 2nd consecutive win. Who do they think they are? All right, come on, let's go, Tony, and talk to us. You got 60 seconds on the clock. Where are you going here tonight for a best bet?
I'm going to Minneapolis, to the Twin Cities. I have Golden State visitor, and I played this. I'll go ahead and tell you. I played this one of my plays tonight, and I played it on the money line when this game was essentially pick 'em. You've seen now since it's moved a little bit, and it moved as soon as they announced that Edwards. There was an issue with Edwards, and as Rob mentioned, Edwards hasn't been anything fantastic over the last week, 2 weeks, but more so, this is a play against Minnesota on a second night. Listen, last night's game took a lot of energy out of this team. They had a big lead. They had to focus again, yada yada, back and forth. Golden State's great when they have rest advantage. They're great coming off the wins or losses they had last night, and they play better defense. Listen, the young crew's better now. Moody, 7-1 wingspan. Give me Golden State to hold Minnesota low and easily cover the short 2 or 3 you're going to have to lay right now if you take them. Golden State -3.
All right, going with the road favorite there. It's the Golden State Warriors. So, Rob, process of elimination. We know it ain't going to be the Laker game. So talk to us here. Where are you looking at, Vino? What you doing?
I mean, honestly, why wouldn't it be a Laker game? It won't be, but why wouldn't it be the Laker game? No, I'm going to go back to what we said before because I just think it all adds up that Golden State and Minnesota playing over here. Golden State offensively, in my mind, and this would back Tony's Golden State play. I think they're going to find their way to about 125 points tonight. I just don't see any way Minnesota on the back-to-backs here stops them. They don't play enough defense, and they do play with extreme pace. And if you only have Karl Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell as your top 2, that's still really good. Important quote that I got yesterday from Chris Finch, the head coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves, was he said he thought that they were underutilizing Karl Anthony Towns and that they need to use him more offensively. Didn't quite shake out last night, but I think it might shake out here against these Golden State centers. Belichia maybe not in this game as well for Golden State. So I think Towns will have a big night. Give me over 231.5 Minnesota Golden State. You could have me and Tony Finn in a parlay.
Oh, I like that. Look, we got an under in a Rockets game. We got an over in a Golden State game. What a shocker here, guys. All right, let's take a look here as 6 games on the board. And we'll start with Ski's recap, who he likes the Hawks. Those 6.5 points are yelling at him. Don't forget to sprinkle a little something on the money line for the profit line there with Atlanta and Boston. His best bet, though, Wizards laid at 3.5, and look at that. Wizards sprinkle on the money line, another profit line. Love it. Tony Finn, he's going to go Rockets. And I can't even, can we even get can we have an applause from Robert in the back? Somebody's got the balls to take the Rockets. +7. His best bet, however, it's going to be the Warriors. That's right. Golden State heading to Minnesota. He'll lay the 3. And Rob Vino, he likes himself some Pistons here tonight to be able to get it done against the Washington Wizards. They are getting 3.5. I don't know if he's going to have enough not to go ahead and maybe a little profit line there, sprinkle a little something on the ML. But hey, take the 3.5 for a dog. And of course, best bet, he going over 231.5. Warriors and Timberwolves. While the contrarian play of the day, Ski Profit and the contrarian gods on the same page, taking those 6.5 points against the Boston Celtics. And there you got it here, guys. Interesting card here tonight. Of course, we do have plenty going on in college basketball as well. All 3 of these gentlemen locked and loaded here tonight on the hardwood. Now would be a great time for you to head on over, visit Ski's page. Shooter's going to shoot, guys. If you haven't figured that one out yet, he is ready to go here tonight, as is Tony Finn, and certainly in college, Rob Vino is ready to go. Maybe, just maybe, we'll sprinkle a little NBA play between now and tip-off, guys. Make sure you visit Rob's page over at WagerTalk.com. Hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner. And, of course, make plans to come back and join us again tomorrow, as we'll do it all over again. Another NBA tip-off show. A lot of hoops here this week, both college and in the association. Come back and join us here. We'll see if we can't make it a profitable week for you guys. On behalf of Ski, Tony Finn, and Rob Vino, guys, best of luck with your plays tonight. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Good luck.
Between now and Selection Sunday on March 13th, there are still tons of regular season college basketball action to go. Plus, all of the conference tournaments and WagerTalk and Sports Memo are announcing their March Madness Bonanza special, which includes the rest of college basketball regular season, conference tournaments, NCAA tournament through the national championship, and any plays released in the NIT or CBI tournaments. Sign up for this promotion now at your favorite handicappers homepage and get the rest of the college basketball season through the national championship on Monday, April 4th for just $177. That's under $5 a day for one of the best betting experience in sports. Act fast, as the March Madness Bonanza special is only available for a limited time.